Disney World currently has 14 on-ride photos, and while that's a lot, I want more. There's a few rides that just feel like they should have ride photos that don't. And it feels like an easy win for Disney to, increase the value of their PhotoPass offerings, as well as, give guests a new way to share their vacation memories and spread the word of their Disney World vacations in a time where, Disney's trying to drive up attendance. And so here are the rides that I think really deserve a ride photo. So for starters, yes, I'm making another ride photo video. I'm aware that that's kind of weird, but at the same time, I told you I liked ride photos in the last one. You should have believed me. And now, number 2 is I want to start on some rides that already do have the hardware and take your photo, but they don't give you the photo in the app. And I think these are easy slam dunks for Disney. So the first one being Spaceship Earth. So at the start of Spaceship Earth, they tell you to, look up at the monitor, and then it takes your photo, which is then used at the end of the ride to, Photoshop into your future. And while it doesn't always do a great job at this, it still takes your photo, and you still have that photo of, the guest in the ride vehicle. And so for a lot of people, I feel like there's this weird disconnect of, hey, it took a photo of us, but it's not in my app, I don't see it. What gives? And yes, there is a way to get your photo. You can, at least, well, I've not tried this in a while. You should be able to, email yourself a postcard in Project Tomorrow after the ride. But I'd be willing to say that only 1% of guests maybe even know of that being an option. And so for the rest of them, it's probably a little confusing. And so this feels like an easy slam dunk for Disney, and also will clear up some confusion. I don't even think you need to give guests the Photoshop version of the photo, but I think that's a bonus if you do. So the other ride that already takes your photo but doesn't give you it is a little bit more of a stretch. It's Star Tours. So I don't know if they only have a photo of the Rebel Spy, if that camera only gets that one photo, or if they have the ability to do a wide shot of everyone in the cabin, or if there's a way to implement another camera to do that. But I do think it'd be really cool on a ride like Star Tours, where there's so much rewritability and things change and there's a chance of being the Rebel Spy or different scenes. I think it'd be really cool to, have a ride photo of even just the whole cabin, but at the same time, maybe the frame changes depending on which destinations you got. Maybe, the Rebel Spy that was chosen is highlighted in that wide shot of the photo. I just think there's a lot of opportunity here, and I think, the more Star Wars ride photos, the better, because right now there's none. And I think that's something that is, kind of lacking and kind of surprising if you think about it. So, on that note, the other Star Wars ride that I think desperately needs a ride photo is Rise of the Resistance. I mean, think about it. It's one of only 2 rides that are on the Lightning Lane single pass system that don't have a ride photo. It's such an e-ticket that you feel like it should have one, and it's such an experience that you feel like it should have one and have the ability to share with people. And I think there are ways to integrate it that would make sense. The obvious spot is the drop. It's when your pod drops out. But I get that there may be some issues with lighting in there and getting a camera in that pod that's gonna move with the whole system. I get the complications there. At the same time, could you put it in a spot like when Kylo jumps down and the lights are flashing at you already, so you already have your flash built in, and it's in a more stationary spot for the ride vehicles? Is that a possibility? Is that a good spot to put it? But I just think there's some way to integrate a ride photo into Rise that just has to get done. It's too big of a ride to not have a way to share that memory every time. Now, the other Lightning Lane single pass without a ride photo is Flight of Passage over in Animal Kingdom. And this one I get, it's a lot tougher to integrate a ride photo into this one, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought of the possibilities of doing something really creative with this. So if the whole idea of the ride is, linking to an avatar that's on the back of a Banshee already, is there a way to, take a photo of you in the first pre-show room or, on the link chair, and then Photoshop that into a scene where you have your avatar that got linked and selected flying on the back of a Banshee, and then a photo of you on the link chair or in the pre-show room getting linked? Is that something that you can do? There's something creative there that I think is an option. And I want to see Disney explore that, because I think Flight of Passage is another one that it's an experience, it's something people want to share and want to have a photo of and want to have that memory of, that I think you almost have to take a photo of. And so I think there's a unique way of doing that Disney hasn't tapped into yet, but I think if they put their minds to it, they'd come up with something really cool and really shareable. So for the next one, I noticed that Disney really doesn't do ride photos on things that are traditionally family friendly. You have Pirates and Haunted Mansion, but even then, those aren't like the first choices of something that I'd bring like my little nephew on right now. And so I wanted to think of what are rides that have no height requirement that Disney could put a ride photo on to capture that, massive family audience that right now Disney doesn't offer ride photos to, and make up a huge percentage of the people who visit the parks. And so the first thing that came to mind was obviously Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Like, this is just such a quintessential Disney ride. It's, a perfect opportunity for baby's first ride photo. Mickey and Minnie deserve to be in a ride photo frame. And it just feels like a perfect choice. And it feels like a slam dunk that would really get a lot of people who are on the fence about getting Memory Maker to, pull the trigger on it. The way to integrate it, I really thought of two options. One, you could put it behind the mirrors in Daisy's studio. You'd have to, figure out the lighting, but you do have a lot more stationary movement in there, and you can make it work pretty well, and then you hide the cameras behind the mirrors, and it's super easy. The other one is where, you go single file past Donald right before you get into the Daisy's dance studio. I think there's an opportunity there to incorporate the flash a little bit and, make the ride photo feel natural and seamless into the ride, but also get, just an individual car. The other super family friendly ride I chose was It's a Small World. This is one that just felt right. If we already have one on Pirates, we can put one on Small World. There's ways to integrate it where it's not going to be super flashy. Those scenes are a lot brighter than Pirates and many other dark rides, so the flash won't need to be as strong to really make that same effect and get a good photo. And I think you have a lot of fun with the frames. I think it'd be really cool, if the frames changed up. You can have options of all the different, countries and cultures that are represented on Small World, and almost kind of make it like that finale scene where you have all the different ways to say, goodbye. And I think that's a unique way of getting, the Small World ride photo where anyone could go on that ride. You can bring anyone of any age on that ride, and they'll have a way of documenting that they were on it on a Disney classic like that. And now the final one on this list is the one that inspired the entire thing, because every time I think about it, it makes me mad and it doesn't make sense. And that's Big Thunder Mountain. I don't know how Big Thunder Mountain doesn't have a ride photo. It doesn't make sense. I've heard guests on the ride ask about where the photo is. There isn't one. I've had people visit me and they'll come and ride Big Thunder and be like, so we're getting the photo from that? And I'm like, there was no photo. And the worst part about it is you could put that camera anywhere on the ride and you'd get a fine photo. I'd prefer if you put it on one of those like surprise airtime pops, but at the same time, you really could put it anywhere on that ride and people would be happy with a ride photo on Big Thunder. It's such an iconic coaster for Disney that it makes no sense for it to not, have a ride photo and have something to share from it. So yeah, there's my list of rides at Disney World that I think desperately need ride photos, especially you, Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah. But I hope you enjoyed the video. It's a little bit shorter probably, but it's a shorter topic and I just wanted to, express my opinion on it and put it out there into the universe. So hopefully one day we'll see Big Thunder Mountain with a ride photo on it. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment if I missed, rides that you think should have ride photos. If there's ones that you think like, where can you place a ride photo on here? What would be a cool frame for it? Let me know. And yeah, in the meantime, I'm working some major progress on the next kind of big picture, big theme park history integrated with opinion kind of thing, video essay thing. It's coming along well, and I'm really excited for it, and I'm hoping to get it out probably around like end of October right now is my goal. I don't know if we're gonna be able to, but it's gonna be a fun one, so I'm hoping to get it out by the end of October. But in the meantime, I'll see you guys next time. Wow, I can't believe I've done this many of these at this point. Like, I feel like I actually have like a channel going here now.
Cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.